YouTube? How are you this afternoon? I'm pretty good. Corbin looks like he's still alive, so I guess we're all right. We are at Home Depot store 1402 in North Little Rock, Arkansas. We got here at 11 o'clock, checked in, and he told us to take everything off, get the tarps off and the straps. And so we did. It took us 30 minutes, right on the money. Get both those tarps pulled off and get all the straps rolled up, put away. Now we're waiting on them because they went to lunch. How rude. And they knew we were here and they went to lunch. So we're just going to wait on them. Hopefully they said they'd be ready by 12, and it's got about another 10, maybe 15 minutes. We got up this morning at 4:30, about 30 minutes after we should have. Got ready, pre-trip the truck, and I started driving, and I drove till we got to Sulphur Springs. No, Caddo Mills, Sulphur Springs. One of those two, I don't remember. The Pilot, exit 122 on I-30. That was about an hour, 15, 20 minutes or so, and then parked the truck, and we did a load check. I went inside, took care of personal business, and Corwin jumped in the hot seat, and he started driving. He drove all the way up here. Did really, really good. Even in the construction zones, I could see the veins pulsing on the side of his head. He's going, "Oh no, K-rails, K-rails!" Because they were like right here and right here, and here's the truck, and he's like, "Oh shit, oh shit." Excuse my language, people. But he did really, really well. He does really great in the construction zones. Still got to work on the lane control a little bit, and his speed control's coming along real good. Maybe sometime later this week, or might even let him use the cruise control. Ooh, that's a big one right there. Until we get in the mountains, then I can start working on his manual control. But the drive was real nice. He got about an hour of nighttime driving in, and about another 3 hours of day driving. I would say he got about 270 miles so far. And then he came here straight to the store and all the city driving. So really happy with him. Everything's really, really good. We're going to be, as soon as they unload us, we're going to be heading over to North Little Rock, to the yard. Wait a minute, we're in North Little Rock. We're heading down the freeway to the yard and parking the truck. They're going to do a full PM, as well as work on the things that I have listed, and a couple other things too. And I need to go to payroll. I also need to talk to my fleet manager. And we were probably going to end up staying there for the night. So I'm not really sure what else the day holds. We're probably not going to get another load till the morning. If we do stay the night, that means we get to stay in a hotel. And the current plan is usually they put one driver per room when you're in the shop. If they try to put us in the same room, then I'm going to let Corwin have the room, and I'm going to buy my own. But while we're in Maverick, I've got to go to Walmart. Got to stock up on Gatorade. Definitely not drinking as many Dr. Peppers as I usually am. And I'm going to take a shower and go out and get a steak or something for dinner, and see how that goes. But I'll let y'all know what turns up after we get over to Little Rock and check in. Until then, see ya. Good evening, YouTube. How are you this evening? I am pretty good, and so is Corwin, wherever he's at. I think he's doing his laundry. It is 8 p.m. Central Time, and excuse me, we are at the Maverick Yard in North Little Rock, plugged into the shore power. After we talked earlier, it took them about an hour and a half to finally get us unloaded. It was before they even came out, they just started unloading us to almost 1. And then it took them about another 45 minutes after that. So it was almost 2 when they were done, and we checked out and headed on over here to catch our appointment in the shop, which was 2 o'clock. And we got here about 5 minutes before that. Got over here, dropped the trailer and set up the truck to be picked up and checked it in. They did a bunch of stuff I hadn't even listed. They fixed the fairing on the driver's side. Apparently it was loose. They removed our Easy Pass and Pre-Pass from the truck and installed a new system called DriveWise and Best Pass. We also still have Pre-Pass, but only for tolling in certain states. We have Best Pass for tolling in other states, and they took the Pre-Pass out and gave us this new thing called DriveWise, which, from looking at the information and looking at other things, guess I'm going to be going through some scales because there's not many states participating in DriveWise right now anyway. Really stinks. The new DriveWise system does the displays on the OmniTracks, which I think is kind of crazy since we're going to be going to tablets eventually, and the OmniTracks are going to be going away. At least that's what I've heard, because they've been testing the tablets. They installed a new inverter for the regular truck, and then they installed a second inverter in the truck just for CPAP machines. Apparently the CPAP has to have a separate inverter altogether that plugs directly into the power of the batteries, so the truck batteries will die before the CPAP is turned off. So it's actually outside the loop. And when I have CPAP users, I'm required to use OptiIdle so the truck stays charged. I don't have a problem with that really, but what I do have a problem with is OptiIdle. And for those that don't know, OptiIdle is a system that will start the truck automatically when the batteries reach a certain level to charge them back up. And technically, it's supposed to turn itself off when the batteries reach peak. And I've used it several times, but it never turns itself off. It'll run and run and run and run. I used it a week or so ago. I think I talked about it. In fact, I know I used it while on that Labor Day weekend I was stuck out. And I remember after going to bed, it turned on, and when the truck turned on, it woke me up. And that's cool. I rolled back over, went to sleep, and I woke up about 6 hours later, and the truck was still running. And it hadn't shut off and come back on, but because the idle timer was slowly ticking away. So back to what I was saying is I have to run OptiIdle when I have a CPAP user on the truck, and I do not get my idle time adjusted for that, which I personally think is bogus, because I don't need a CPAP machine, and otherwise I would not be idling my truck. I mean, the only time I idle my truck is when it's hot. Middle of the daytime, super hot, because the EPU system cannot keep this whole truck cold if the sun is beating down on it in the middle of the day. It does great in the afternoons, evenings, early mornings, but if the truck is sitting in the direct sunlight and it's really hot outside, it can't even begin to keep up. So I think, in my opinion, I'm being penalized because I have a student on board who has a CPAP machine. When I have one, if I have to run the idle the truck to keep power up so they can use their CPAP machine. I think that's really kind of bogus. I'm hoping that enough of the trainers, including me, complain, because I already have, and I will again, about it, because that ruins our PFP, our pay for performance. So if my pay for performance takes a major hit because I have to idle for all these new students that are coming in with CPAP machines, and according to statistics and numbers that from my experience from working in the training center and numbers they gave us at MIT, approximately 30 to 35% of all new hires are OSA, which is obstructive sleep apnea, positive, and require a CPAP machine. So I don't know what to do about it. I honestly don't know. I mean, I got 8 big truck batteries on this truck, and they should last. CPAP machines don't draw that much power, at least they're not supposed to, but they are. I talked to a couple other trainers. The CPAPs just drain them. That's why they're installing these new inverters. Oh well. Other than that's that. And another consequence of that, the new inverter, they put it in a spot underneath my bunk. That's not a big deal, but they put it in a spot where I kept a bin that held all my food. So now I had to completely reorganize everything under the bunk, so I can store my food and water, because I keep a case or more of bottled water in the truck. I keep 4 cases of Gatorade. And I know it may seem like a lot, but I keep that much because that's about a week to 2 week supply, and it's cheaper than buying a couple of bottles every time I hit a truck stop or a convenience store. You know, I can pay $40 and get 2 cases of water and 6 cases of Gatorade, 6 8-packs of Gatorade for $40, or a little less than that, and have enough for 2 weeks. And plus my food. So I had to completely reorganize everything and get jammed down, and I don't have enough room for everything down there now. So I'm having to keep all my unopened new bottles of Gatorade inside the cooler, which I don't keep ice in, and just put stuff in the refrigerator as I need it. So kind of a whiny one. I apologize. What else did they do? They checked the computer for the opti-idle to see why it wasn't turning itself off. They can't figure it out. And they cannot figure out how to change the time on the clock on the dash. Not the one on the radio, but the one that's built into the dash, the time that's built into the ECM. They can't figure out how to change the time on it. Currently, it's set for something like Bangladesh. I mean, I could change the settings to have it set at Central Standard Time and use daylight savings, but it's still 5 hours behind, which means it's set for GMT, and they can't change it. Or they don't know how. I don't know. So we're here, and they finished with the truck about 6 o'clock, and then I had to go back to Walmart to pick up a couple of things. I picked up a small plastic bin to cover the new CPAP unit, so I can put stuff on it, and it didn't lose all my space, but I lost enough of it, and an extension cord so CPAP users can plug into the inverter. They put it way down there, but they don't give me an extension cord to allow them to plug into it, because they, oh boy, sometimes I love this company. Lady, please, I love this company. It's a great place to work, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But hey, that's trucking. On another note, it's still Driver Appreciation Week. Great week. We got here and they had hamburgers, hot dogs, hamburgers and bratwurst and meatloaf with chips and all the sodas you could get. Matter of fact, they're just leaving the sodas out. They also had pool tables set up for us, and they were running you really couldn't call it a ping pong tournament, but you got to play against management members, and just for playing, you got a $15 Pilot gift card. How awesome is that? Corwin lost 21-3, and I lost, but I lost 21-12. I had him going there. He was up really good till about like 16 or 17 points. I got in my rhythm and I scored like 8 in a row, something like that, and then I lost it. I had a good time. So that's pretty much it. We're here for the night. We're going to get something in the morning. Once we get it and get where we're going and get loaded, we'll let you know. So until then, have a great evening. Keep the shiny side up. 73s. Good night.